Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. Quickly before this video starts, I just want to say I was looking at the stats and apparently 70% of you guys aren't subscribed, so if you're in that category then please do hit subscribe down below with notifications on so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's get right into the stories. The teacher's orders. This story occurred back when I was in middle school. I was a good student and teachers usually enjoyed having me. However, I had one teacher that did not like me at all for some reason. To make matters worse, I had her for 3 periods a day, including study hall. This meant I had plenty of run-ins with her throughout the day, and after a while, I had given up on trying to win her over. I went to a private Christian school, and it was school policy that no homework was to be assigned on Wednesdays, so that students would have no excuse not to go on Wednesday night church. So there I am, sitting in study hall with nothing to really focus on. There were no upcoming exams, and it was Wednesday, so there was no homework to do. I had a small travel chessboard and figured that was educational. So I raised my hand and asked the teacher if I and my fellow classmate, who also liked chess, could pass the class period by quietly playing a few rounds. Absolutely not. This is for classwork, not games. But we don't have any classwork. It's Wednesday. You cannot play a game. Just be constructive. At this, she turned back to whatever she was doing, and the discussion was over. I sat there for a few moments, mulling over her orders, then raised my hand. She was so engrossed in whatever she was doing that I ultimately spoke up. Ma'am? What is it? May I borrow your tape? Yes, fine, just hurry up. I quietly retrieved her scotch tape and then went back to my desk and pulled out a stack of notebook paper. I then proceeded to stealthily build a large sailboat with 3 masts and everything. It wasn't until I was working on an ornamental mermaid for the bow that the class had become entertained in my activities and started to snicker and laugh, causing the teacher to look up from her desk. What on earth? Step outside now! In the hall, the lecture I was given was pretty extensive, and ended with a question of what I thought I was doing by building a boat during study hall, to which I sheepishly grinned and replied, "Ma'am, you said to be constructive." Detention for a week. What was more painful though, is that she trashed the boat. That was perfect malicious compliance. She wanted him to be constructive and there he was, being an engineer, making a boat. But it sounded like she had some grudge against him for no reason. She might have survived this if she had been a courteous douche. I was working at a company that, despite being a multinational, had a very small staff due to its nature. Very specialised medical field. This, plus the constant staff absences from the office due to the site and field trips, meant that everyone at all degrees of seniority came and went from the head office, and mucked in and did whatever they needed doing whenever they were there. Eventually, however, it came to the point of needing a dedicated office person for answering the phone, data entry, filing, etc. So the specialists could focus more on the medical work, and a girl was hired. I was away consulting on a site set up when she started, and this was what happened when I came back and met her. I got back in the morning and wasn't planning on working immediately after such a long trip. Instead, I was planning on, as I usually did on Wednesday when I was in the city, picking up my 5-year-old nephew from the school and going to the park with him. We were going to drop off some papers and a case full of medical equipment at the office on the way. So, I arrive at the office wearing jeans, with a child in tow. This is fairly unremarkable. Our job schedule is non-standard, and to accommodate this, drop-ins at all hours, in various states of sometimes casual dress are frequent. "Hi, you must be Becky. She cuts me off. "What do you want?" Just dropping off the equipment case and some paperwork." The office girl doesn't bother to reply, just shrugs toward the back where the case goes. I put the papers on the edge of the desk in order to wrangle the case into its cupboard. "Don't put them on there, they don't belong there." "Where would you like them?" "Where would I like them? They're nothing to do with me. Just get them out of my way." I take a deep breath, and remember she has no way of knowing who I am or my role with the company. Actually, these need to be entered in the computer, so should I just hand them to you, or do you have an in tray? How about you do your work and stop trying to slough it onto me? And that child shouldn't be in here. My nephew, who has been in the office many times, looks startled at this and a bit upset. "I understand you were taking over in the office." She cuts me off again. "That's right. And as the manager, I need to tell you that in future, you need to dress appropriately and do the work you're given." Me, another deep breath, trying to muster sympathy as she's new and possibly hasn't realized the jeans and the child aren't out of line for a quick drop-off. I summon a smile for a final attempt at making the encounter more pleasant. I never finished introducing myself. Then the office girl to my nephew, "Don't touch anything. Just because your mother," she meant me, "lets you get away with coming in here doesn't mean I will put up with it. In fact, you can go stand outside." My nephew is confused and distraught at this, and bursts into tears. Me, suddenly not giving a damn if she's new and losing all sympathy and the smile. "No, I don't think so. If you don't like it, you can take it up with the CEO. I'm a close personal friend as well as the manager here, and he's happy for me to run the office as I see fit." Take it up with the CEO, she says? Malicious compliance time. I know he will be here shortly, so I decide to just wait and do that. Soon, he comes in the door. "Daddy!" My nephew runs over and gets hugs. The CEO to me. "Oh great, you're back. Have you met Becky yet? Becky, this is Dr. Blank, my business partner and sister. I hope you've been treating her well." He takes papers off me and hands them to her. Then he looks closer at his son. "What's wrong, kiddo? Has someone not been nice to you?" We didn't fire her, she just didn't show up the next day. Don't know what happened to her after that. She never contacted us for a reference. I would pay such good money to be able to see that face as soon as the kid went, "Daddy!" She's just like, "Ah." Order up! So, writing this up, I realized how stupid this whole thing is, and it might be a teensy bit blown out of proportion. But this is r/malicious compliance, not r/I realize how petty I am, and now I feel bad about it. So, here's my story. So, a few months ago, I decided to try a well-liked deli in my town that has been around for a while. But I just never got around to actually trying because of unnecessary loyalty to a different deli I would usually go to. The first time I walked in, it wasn't terribly busy inside, so I took some time looking at the boards until I saw a specialty sandwich that I thought looked good, but just wanted to make a small alteration to. So one of the butchers calls my number and I walk and start rattling off my order. And everything is going fine until I get to my sandwich. And can I get a Russian, but instead of ham on that, can I get chicken cutlet instead? So you don't actually want a Russian then? I guess technically not, but I want everything that's on that sandwich, but instead of ham, I would like chicken cutlet. Listen, you're holding up the line. There were people standing around, but they all had ordered. Just tell me exactly what you want on the sandwich. It will be faster that way. Me, now a little confused and peeved, this guy is being kind of rude about it. Alright, can I list everything I want on the sandwich. See how quickly that went? Now, I don't see how it could be faster to write down every single ingredient instead of just Russian sub-CC or something similar, and I don't like to be very confrontational, so I didn't really say anything at the time, but the sandwiches I got were divine, and I go back to that deli constantly. Now though, whenever I get that particular butcher, I pepper in some malicious compliance. Every time that butcher takes my order now, I do exactly as he asks. No matter how busy or in a rush he may be, I list every single ingredient I want on every single sandwich. Now, this wouldn't seem too bad, but I only really go to that deli if a bunch of my friends are going to be together or if my family wants lunch. So I usually get upwards of like 6 sandwiches whenever I go in, and they are all specialty sandwiches that are written down on the board already, ultimately taking up more of his time. Sometimes he'll recognize a sandwich and ask, "Oh, so you want this sandwich? Why didn't you just say so?" To which I reply, "Because it's faster this way." I might be alone in this one, but let me know if you're like this, but whenever I go to a place, I'll only get what I already know. I'm really bad at trying new things, and I really want to do it more. Just go and get things that I've never ordered before or something like that, because I'm always just getting these plain things that I've had every single time, yeah. I don't know if I'm the only person that does that, but I need to try more things. I'm mean to the students. What are you going to do about it? This was back from when I was a substitute teacher. One year, one of the Spanish teachers was out on maternity/sabbatical, was taking advantage of the lighter workload afforded by her courses and workload. Due to some issues that were a succession of long-term substitutes, an older woman who had never worked with high school kids, myself, who couldn't stay in the position as I didn't speak Spanish, and then finally an older gentleman. The older gent, OG, whose name I never got, had no clue what he was doing, but was full of misplaced energy, stubbornness, and more than a dash of spite. The students picked up on all of it, and due to the fact that not a small number ended up with defiance issues, they did him as much as he did them. Enter the final party in the conflict. She was a paraprofessional, para. Her job was to help a student confined to a wheelchair, with both the work and modifying assignments, but at the school, she was also expected to basically be a class mum and help the other students when her charge didn't need immediate assistance. This woman was the embodiment of the stereotypical Italian mother. Sweet, helpful, warm, and very aggressive in her protectiveness. One day, the old guy made a girl cry, again. The para told him not to do that again to any of the students. He asked her to tell him what she was going to do about it if he did. So, she complied. The para threatened to beat him within an inch of his life. 2 hours later, they were both fired. As of 2 years ago, the school staff still misses her. Well, that wasn't expected. I think that's enough of that today. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.